Hello, all you cosmic travelers and wanderers. This is Darlene Vandergrift and K. Melissa Waterman, inviting you to join us today in our episode of Expansion from Within, Exploring Multidimensionality.
Well, hi, everybody. We're back again. It's episode number 51. We're here together for a change. We're not in two different locations. That's very different.
Yes, it is.
We've never done this before where we're actually sitting together.
Talking heads.
That's us. So today we're going to talk about secrets. And I have a little piece to read from the Evolves. Are you guys ready? They don't answer.
Go for it, Melissa.
Here we go. Hope is humanity's way of not taking responsibility. It creates little to no action. Wishing is detrimental, as it keeps a fantasy alive with little to no foundation and promotes denial. Secrecy invades the psyche. It invades your energy field, thus influencing our beliefs and actions while disrupting how our bodies function. Guilt and shame can cause secrets that can last through lifetimes. It is the underpinning of many of your illnesses, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Secrets become the disruption in the flow of your soul's evolution. So secrets, they sound pretty important. And I think it's great that the Evolves are talking about it, that they want us to pay attention to our secrets and maybe resolve them, expose them.
It's part of the cleansing process that we're all in.
We don't know where to look, guys, just so you know. Sorry.
Talking to each other on the camera.
On the camera or in person. What are we doing? Anyway, so secrets, I think there's something we need to talk about before we really delve into the secret part, is the difference between privacy and secrets or secrecy. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I think there's things that you would want to keep private, that you don't want them out in the public. I mean, it's the media is part of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that feels like it's personal, but it probably doesn't have necessarily, like, secrets feel like they have shame attached or embarrassment attached, where private feels very different than that for me. It feels like this is mine and I just choose not to release that information or whatever.
Right.
You know, it's the same as like you're taking a shower. You don't want to take a shower in a room full of people that, you know, like we used to do in gym class. I don't know if you remember that.
I do.
Yeah, that was really horrible. Anyhow, you know, so that's not a secrecy. That's more of a private thing. Like I need to keep that to myself.
Right.
But secret feels like it has more attachment.
Right. That's very clear. Thank you. So one of the questions that's posed today is, have you ever had a spiritual experience that you kept secret? And why? Why would you keep it secret?
You asking me, huh?
I am.
Yeah. I mean, most of my life in my, you know, I had a business with my mother and it was working with quite a few religious people.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was learning about myself and on the spiritual level and doing channeling at that point and understanding that there was a bigger picture to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And having that information come in, I kept that very secret for a very, very, very long time because it didn't feel safe to say it, you know, and I questioned it for quite a few years coming from a religious background. Like, what is this? What am I doing? You know, is this what they would consider like evil and demonism and all of that? Like there was all that questioning.
Right.
So yeah, it was kept both private and secret.
Well, and I have to say in my own world, I also keep, I'm interested, you know, is it secret or is it private? I don't tell my own sister much about my spiritual life. She isn't interested. I think she would be frightened by it. There have been a few signs that I've gotten over the years, like when I worked with Dr. Dispenza with my Curly and camera, she just thought like she wouldn't let her daughter she wouldn't try it. Like she got judgy about it. And
Mhm.
so I've just kind of taken that and said, okay, I'm going to keep this part away. I'm going to keep it away. I mean, she wouldn't have to look hard to find out what I'm into if she searched me on the internet.
Right.
It's not like it's completely secret, but I don't think it's shame though. I think it's
I think when you're talking about it, I just see it as it's private. Like there's no communication you can have about it, right,
right,
with her.
right,
And you probably could feel shut down by it. So
right.
it's not real. I don't see it as secret.
I'm not asking anybody to be quiet about it
Right.
around her or anything like that. And
Mhm.
certain things certainly come out. She knows enough that she has let me, like when our mother passed, she would say, well, we just have very different beliefs
Mm,
about spirituality. So she's gotten enough information to know that we're not on the same page.
right.
Um, and yet, so I'm not going out of my way to put it in her face, so to speak, what my beliefs are. So yeah, but this is all I think what we're wanting to bring to the fore for all of our listeners to kind of really look at it. What's secret and what's private, and
Hmm.
how does it feel, and where is the shame? Right? That's what we're after.
Yeah. Where is the shame? Where is the hiddenness,
Right.
in doing that? Like when you think of your secret, does it make you want to buckle in? Does it make you want to
Right.
just cower
Right.
in your chest because you just can't tolerate that thing about you or something that you did? It's very um, it's mostly about yourself, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is. It's either you're saying, I'm going to keep this private because it's sacred, or because it's special, or because it's important, or because it's just mine,
Yeah.
right? I want to keep it to myself. Or, oh, there's going to be trouble and I don't want to share it because this is going to make trouble. People are going to see me wrong. There's an egoic aspect to it.
Well,
That's the secret part.
yeah, the other, that because this is was it in May that we did this with the Cosmic Travelers?
Yes.
Yeah. And what comes up is secrets don't have to be negative. Like I did a workshop many years ago on the secrets of who you know yourself to be or believe or want to believe who you are,
Mhm.
and how you don't tell anybody because it's going to feel egoic. It's going to
Mhm.
feel like you're saying, oh, I'm all this, right? And so you hold that back. So that's both private and secret. But if you start talking about that,
Right.
then you start manifesting it more and it becomes less secret and more real.
That's right. That's right. And you're empowering yourself by
Right.
owning in an appropriate way your own core self, right?
Right.
You're just owning your power. And it doesn't have to be haughty or egoic, right?
Right.
Like narcissistic in some way. So, how does keeping spiritual experiences secret impact your spiritual growth? Well, we just said that. I think it impacted my spiritual growth when I was new, keeping myself small because of some other people I was around who needed to be the head of the group. Um, it impacted, I didn't grow spiritually. I stayed small for them. I made a choice in some way, although it wasn't conscious at the time. I could see I chose to remain small for for those other people.
Yeah. And for me, it was, I had an agreement that I knew that I had with my mother very early on. That was prior to even coming into this life. And that was I wasn't gonna, I wasn't gonna overshadow her. I wasn't gonna do any of that. And we were in a business together for quite a long time.
Mhm.
And she was doing her part of and it was an alternative business. I was doing my part. And it wasn't until it was like a week after she passed that it was like, oh, wow, like now I can be me,
Right,
you know?
right,
Up until that point, it was under her umbrella of what she created and who she brought into the business and all of that. But this was like mine. It was like my house.
right.
Right.
It's so interesting the things that are going on in the subconscious that you didn't have any way to know until it was gone.
Hmm.
And then you could go, oh, there's a little more wiggle room here. There's a little more freedom. Have you ever revealed a spiritual secret that changed your perception of your faith or spirituality?
I have to think about that. Have I ever shared a spiritual secret?
Yeah, that changed your perception of your faith or spirituality. I can go first.
Go ahead.
I was born again for many, many years. And so when I started to believe outside of that very, I want to say, strict
Hmm.
set of rules, I kept them secret. I did not talk about, I was starting to listen to people who are channeling. I watched the movie What the Bleep Do You Know, or The Secret, and I wasn't able to share that with the rest of my spiritual community. That would have been heresy right
Hmm.
off the bat.
Right.
And so I had to figure out how to leave that group and own my power. Yeah, and I, you know, there are only maybe two people from that group that know that I channel, or that I, have some intuition available for other people. So it's still kind of a secret, although I'm not interested, I don't care. Like, I'm not going out of my way to go back to these people that I haven't seen in 25 years and let them know, guess what? This is my true self. They're not important to me anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in my training and stuff, it was judged from the community, a certain part of the community, because the other part of the community was very open to alternative health and alternative healing and all of that.
Mhm.
But the other part was very judgmental. And so keeping that very contained and really did need to be secret, because all hell would break loose
Right.
in my world, in my mother's world, and all of that.
Right.
And yeah, the confining piece feels like my first part of that, actually, as I'm thinking about it, is, so I was taught in a certain way of what God represented and who that was, and the name of God, and all of that. And for years, I couldn't even say the name. When I was working with clients that believed in that, I had a really hard time saying the name. And then it was about a 10-year process for me to really be able to say the name with no attachment, and say the name feeling not guilty or shamed or embarrassed and all of that. And coming to a terms of what God was for me,
I would have to say the same. Mine was about a 10-year process as well. All kinds of interesting things I went to and went through to get to say the word Jesus, and the whole my Lord or the Lord, or still that Lord thing doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate Christ consciousness, and I appreciate so much that's in that Bible is truth. It's just the way it got distorted by humans.
Right.
For as far as I'm concerned, that's my belief. So are there spiritual practices or beliefs that you keep secret from others?
Not anymore. It feels like my spiritual growth is really about, and I was just thinking about this in the last couple of weeks, like, okay, I'm going to be interviewed and I'm going to speak my truth, and it's going to be out there for the media for however long it's going to be out there. And if people pick it up and they don't know what I do or whatever, then they can do whatever they need to do with it. Right. So no, and secrets do eat at me more than they've ever have before.
Yeah. I think it's so good for us to be talking about this, just so we can ponder if we have a secret, because I think that they can go underground in a way that, they're still eating at you, but you don't really know what the eating is, or what's the grr that's going on, what's its source, right? So to have this come up now seems very, I don't know, it seems appropriate. It makes me think I have lots of secrets in my family, and they're not spiritual secrets necessarily. They're just, my mother had a child out of wedlock. It happens to be me. And so that was a secret, because she was ashamed that she had a child out of wedlock. And so there was this whole big thing that went on around my birth, and holy crap, lots of lies, lots of stories, lots of strange, strange behaviors due to this
secret.
this secret.
Hmm.
And I can remember reading about adult children of alcoholics, like back, when Bradshaw was big and back in the 80s, I guess, or early 90s, and thinking like, what is the secret in my family? Like there's nobody's an alcoholic. Like what we meet all the criteria of this strange list. And it was a big deal when I found out I was the secret.
You know what? It's bringing up for me.
What?
And I hear you.
Yeah.
I was a secret for 6 months in my mother's womb because she was not allowed to get pregnant.
Right.
And she didn't come out with that. She used to bound her belly,
Great.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, until it was too late because they always told her she wasn't supposed to get pregnant the third time and it would be detrimental to both of us. And when she found out she was, she just kept me hidden as a
Right.
secret.
Right. Right.
So I got secret energy in me. And I'm also Scorpio, so there you have it.
Oh, and is that is Scorpio special around secrets?
They're hidden, they're like they will look under they will turn every rock over to look
Uh-huh.
for what's under there, so which really helps me in my practice, right? And the work that I do, because I always need to know the more, like the depth of it, like what is that? But it's also that secret. I feel that Scorpios have more secrecy. They can back out of something, they back off of something and they hold it to themselves before they come out with it,
Right. Huh. I didn't realize
before they
that.
sting people.
That's great. How do you think we can keep secrets from impacting our spiritual health and well-being, or our physical health for that matter, not just our spiritual?
I think it's taking accountability for,
Yeah.
do you have them?
Mhm.
Do you have them? Writing it would be really good.
Right.
First, to write what your secret is, to really pour out the emotional level that keeps us stuck in
Right.
that secret.
Right.
And then if you want to share it with somebody, choose somebody that can just listen.
Uh-huh.
And not be judgmental and not make faces,
Right. Right.
Not
so become aghast.
Yeah, like that's you, like what
that?
did you, yeah,
Right. Yeah. Well, I think that's probably all we've got. We're going to do another episode on secrets.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk a little bit more about the religious aspects of secrets. And I guess in closing, maybe we could just talk a little bit about the sacred secrets that are held around some of the sacred powers that might have been at play early on, like in Egypt, how the secrets of how things were built, how things manifested. Like in my contemplating this episode, I started thinking about those kinds of sacred secrets, and what I got from the Cosmic Travelers was that it's time for all secrets to be revealed, right? It's time for all the good ones and the bad ones, for lack of a better way of talking about it. And then we don't get to know what the reason for those secrets around, what the dodecahedron is. It's written that no one should say its name. I mean, not now, but back in the Middle Ages, the dodecahedron was so sacred that we shouldn't mention it. There's some secrets around that dodecahedron that seem to have been lost, right? There's some power to that dodec that I don't know that we are understanding. Maybe some astrophysicist is, but I'm not. I haven't levitated anything lately with a dodec.
You sure? Well, we are on that cusp, right? Of these sacred stuff that's been denied us through whatever agenda might have been whenever we were denied those secrets. Right. But we're bringing in sound and light in the last 10, 15 years in working with different things, whether that's laser, whether that's, tuning forks or crystal bowls or anything. So we're allowing that to happen. And it's been expanding.
Right.
For everybody, that I know more about, you go to a sound healer.
Right.
You go to an energy healer, you go to somebody that uses light therapy, we're doing magnetics for the brain waves, like we're using these we haven't quite got to the total sacred symbols and stuff in the bigger world. There's still modalities around that.
Right.
But I think that, yeah, these secrets, if we're going to bring in cosmic order, you have to identify the richness of what has been kept secret
Right.
to bring it into its sacred place of utilizing it.
I'm thinking of Nassim Harriman and all of his sacred geometric shapes and what he's doing with those shapes to create, he's wanting to create free energy. He's, maybe Tesla, who knows, maybe he's reincarnated. But either way, there's some secrets there. There's something about the power of these sacred geometric shapes that aren't completely revealed, but there are people certainly looking into it. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, we're in it.
Right, we are in it. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that before we do our announcements. Are you ready to do announcements?
Yes.
All right. So you can contact Darlene at soulunion.com and you can contact me at livingwellbeing.net. Just so you know, this episode is connected to the teachings that were presented at the May 2024 live Cosmic Travelers event. The materials given during that meditation at that event will assist you in exploring this topic. You can order a recording of this event at soulunion.com. We have the Cosmic Travelers live session event on the third Sunday of each month. All participate in a guided interactive meditation directly with the evolves if you attend that. You can get information about that at soulunion.com and you can find out about payment. It's like $25.
Yes.
It's not a very expensive event. I highly recommend it. We also have a Facebook page. It's called Cosmic Travelers. Please, you can look for it in groups. If you search groups, it's on the left when you're on your Facebook page. We also have YouTube channels, both Darlene and I. The links for those are down in the blurb, or they're written down below, whatever below is. And I think that's it. That's our announcements for today.
Yeah, thanks, Melissa. And remember, you know more than you know.